Hello and welcome to a special crossover edition of the Goodman and Hummel and the DTF podcast. We have all of the talent here. We don't have Robbie Hummel. No one needs Robbie Hummel. But we don't have John Fanta. John Fanta ditched us. He's over there yelling about Costco steaks or something like that. But my name is Rob Dauster. I'm here. I got Jeff Goodman. I got Terrence Oglesby. As you can see in the background, we are live at the Adidas 3SSB. I don't know what that means, but it's the Adidas Championships.
Three stripes something.
Three stripes summer basketball.
That might be it. Or they could have done circuit and then spelled it with an S because they're cooler than we are.
Yeah, that's that Clemson education coming out right there. Right there. But
got to make it make sense.
We're live in Rock Hill, South Carolina. We're obviously watching games. You can see them going on in the background. If you hear a lot of noise going on right now, that's what's happening where we are. We're going to be joined by Reed Sheppard and Gabe Cupps here in a little bit, Kentucky commit and an Indiana commit. We're going to be talking quite a bit about summer basketball, what we've seen at this event, what we've liked, what Jeff Goodman didn't like, which is a long list. But before we do that, we have not talked about conference realignment on either of these pods. It sucks. I hate it. It's frustrating. I wish we didn't have to talk about it.
Do this? Right.
We need to. Because we need – people want to know how this is going to impact college basketball.
Well,
I don't want to talk about where leagues are going. I don't care where schools are going. I want to know what you guys think is going to happen to college basketball.
The only thing I care about, honestly, the only thing I care about ultimately is that the tournament doesn't change. So Greg Sankey, listen to that because, and here's something I'll tell you guys, okay? I haven't said this to anybody yet. Greg Sankey, who runs the transformation committee and is now the SEC commissioner, spoke to the D1 Council a few weeks ago. And a couple people at the D1 Council called me and said, you know, Sankey kind of made it look like and talked down to us a little bit and made it look like the NCAA tournament may not look like the NCAA tournament in a couple of years, meaning that the little guys might not be involved anymore. Now, I called a couple more guys on the committee and said, no, I think they heard it wrong. But all I'm saying is don't be surprised if there's a push from Greg Sankey and some of the big boys to not include the Sankey rule. And that would be awful. That would be the worst thing to me for college basketball. I don't care. Listen, UCLA can go to whatever conference they want in USC, and I'm a Pac-12 guy. Obviously, I went to Arizona. They can go to whatever conference they want. There's ultimately going to be 2-3 mega conferences. We know that. Just don't F with the NCAA tournament, period.
The problem is that the guys that make these decisions are not making these decisions based on what's best for the sport. The reason people love college football is because of these little regional rivalries and because of the oddities and the quirks and teams like Boise State coming out of nowhere with those trick plays to beat Oklahoma in a fucking bowl game, right? They love it because Colorado State and Wyoming play for some random trophy that they have every year, and there's 1,000 of those little random rivalries. The reason people love college basketball is these stories, whether it's John Morant, whether it's Northern State being undefeated, whether it's St. Peter's making it to the Elite Eight. If you go back and look at the most viewed college basketball games last year, St. Peter's was 2 of the top 3. Their Sweet 16 game and their Elite Eight game. People care. Problem is, guys making these decisions are suits at conferences and suits that work at these schools that say, hey, we can increase our revenue in the athletic department by X% by doing this. They don't care what's good for the sport.
No.
They care about their bottom line.
No, there's something to be said for that. But it gets to a point, guys, the numbers that they're throwing out. I mean, you talk about Big Ten adding UCLA and USC, and it's going to add $150 million to the deal. Right. If you're talking those kind of figures, it's almost irresponsible not to listen. It's almost irresponsible not to take part. But at the same time, to go along with what you say, Jet, that's something that I really hope that the NCAA and this new whatever this group is going to be. I don't have all the news like you, obviously, but I hope they can come together and make a decision. Or maybe football is its own entity, all in of itself. Keep the college basketball
the same. It all up.
The one silver lining to all this is Mark Emmert will be gone soon. So maybe we have a chance here. Maybe we have a chance. You know, probably not, because my guess is all the presidents will take care of somebody else, you know, and put them in that spot that they can control.
Well, this is something that's been happening anyway. You remember Bob Huggins bringing it up a few years, or I think it was last year. He said, well, we're the people bringing all the people in. Have you ever been to some of these low major games? Nobody's going. And look, I understand the rhetoric behind that. I understand that, hey, you're there to put butts in the seats sometimes, but it still kind of ruins the ambiance of what is the NCAA tournament, which is one of the greatest sporting events we have in our country. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And the excitement around it, the underdog, all that. Our country loves that kind of deal. And to take that away, I think would be a big time. Yeah, exactly right.
That's
and
the difference.
It'll take away from what
our sport is. Our sport is a niche sport for the most part until the tournament. And then you're bringing in everybody, whether it's, my mom, I don't know if your kids aren't old enough yet, but everybody just brings in everybody. It won't do that to me if you get rid of the Cinderella stories and those first round upsets. Yeah, we want to see the big boys like we did in the Final Four, and again, maybe there's something where those guys aren't getting the same level of a share down the road, something like that.
I mean, that's going to be the biggest thing. I talked with one person here who said he thought what would happen is that eventually the NCAA tournament is going to break away. Right, they're going to pull it out. It's going to be all of the big boys. It's going to be like the top 8, 9, 10, however many conferences, and they're going to play just those teams in whatever they call it. It's not going to be the NCAA tournament anymore. They're going to call it something else. And then what's going to happen is they're going to realize that they ruined it. They realize they ruined all the stuff that gives it.
But there'll be no going back.
All the stuff that people loved about it. They'll invite those D1 AA, whatever you want to phrase, the other teams to have a seat at the table. They're going to get a smaller slice of the pie. And that's at the end of the day, I think that's what the people that are going to make this decision care about. Why should we be sharing the revenue with these schools that don't do all that much for all of us? Why are we giving them an equal share when we are these big powerhouse mega programs that have everybody paying attention, and you got all these small little schools, X amount of dollars for doing it, and they're just there because that's what props up their athletic department. You know what I mean? And
what do you most – okay. So with all this realignment now that continues, again, UCLA, USC going to Big Ten, what are you most kind of intrigued about for hoops? Like for me, it's probably where Gonzaga ends up. Do they go to the Big East? For hoops, again, football, like I'm an Arizona guy. Like Arizona football sucks.
I wouldn't be mad at Arizona ending up in the Big 12.
They
if you
should.
Look at some of the other times, the other schools that are in there. That
Makes
turns into a
sense.
big-time basketball conference really quickly. And then basketball is the main thing in the Big 12. And one that I'm interested in is Duke. What does Duke do?
Duke and Carolina.
Yeah, Duke and Carolina. More so Duke, though, because the football program is an afterthought. Right. But Duke is basketball. Do you do something with the Big East? I think that would be interesting.
You know what we need?
That would be awesome.
This is what we need. This is what we need. Gonzaga going to the Big East. Kansas saying, fuck football, going to the Big East.
I mean, they already said
Duke said, unless they play Texas.
Yeah,
unless they play Texas. Unless they play Texas. That's the only time. Duke says, fuck football and goes to the Big East.
Yeah.
Think about that conference. You would have 4 blue bloods there.
I just don't know.
You'd have Gonzaga, you'd have Duke, and you'd have
Is
Utah.
the Big East going to – they may have no choice, but do they just say, why are we going to pair with anybody? We don't need to. As long as we're still playing people and we're included in the NCAA tournament, why do we have to bring in anybody else that's football? Why do we have to change who we are and what we're about? They don't right now.
Because if you bring in Duke, you bring in Kansas, you bring in Gonzaga, you increase your footprint, you bring in bigger brands, more people are going to pay attention to it. So when you sign that new deal, you have more money coming in. That's the reason why all these schools are leaving, because if UCLA leaves the Pac-12, because they're going to double their revenue.
But is Kansas going to make more going to the Big East? Or even though they have a crappy football program, they're going to make more staying in a Big 12.
Probably make more staying in the Big 12.
Pac-12
Why do you think UConn here, which has a football program that nobody should ever mention? It's a joke.
Be careful,
right?
Be careful.
It's
That's
a
my boy
joke.
Over there. I got some friends in there. I got some friends
joke.
there. New staff. New staff.
It's a joke, that football program. It should not exist. But the reason why they keep begging everybody for a seat at the table is because of the money that football can bring in. That's what everybody wants.
You don't think Jim Mora will get it done at UConn?
I didn't even know Jim Mora was the coach at UConn.
Jim Mora's the coach at UConn?
He's the head coach at UConn. Preston Pearson is the director of football
I didn't even know.
operations. It's important.
Like Jim Mora, the former, or his kid?
NFL.
The old Jim Mora?
Old Jim Mora.
No, come on. The old Jim Mora's the head coach at UConn?
I'm now that
we
you made me
breaking
doubt
news here?
myself, I'm going.
I couldn't tell
I
you.
do not know this. You're Mr. UConn.
Do you think I've ever watched a UConn football game?
They were good for like
I know
a year.
one person
I
that
think they were
ever
good for a
played
year.
football at UConn. Dan Orlovsky. That's it.
Oh, yeah, Dan Orlovsky.
That's it.
Oh, my goodness. What is up with that?
Jim Elmore.
He's going to
I'm
bring
pretty
him back.
Tio,
We're
you
calling
should-
it now.
you should
UConn
tweet-
football.
You should tweet that
is
out.
back. I don't think
You might
anybody
actually be
knows.
breaking news. I don't think anybody knows.
Right.
How do you not know this?
I had no idea.
No, it's not. That's not the old Jim Mora.
Jim Elmore.
That's the younger Jim Mora. The old Jim Mora is old. But he's
You should
still
break
old.
that news like you. Hey,
That Jim
Tio.
Moore is the one you said.
That's
Playoffs.
not him. That's
No,
not
that's
him.
a
That's his
different
kid.
guy.
Yeah,
Different Jim
That's his
Moore.
kid.
Tio, you should break that news like you broke the Clemson athletic director.
I didn't break that news. I didn't break that news.
All right, listen. We I don't want to talk about realignment anymore.
I hate
don't know about you
realignment.
guys.
I hate it. I don't ever want to talk about it again. I just want to get to 3 mega conferences because we're going to be there
But,
anyway.
you know what?
Just
let me-
expedite this
point.
process.
Right.
Before we do,
Everybody out,
I
let
want
you
to
do
wrap it up with this. Give me a percentage. Give me a number on what you like the likelihood of the NCAA tournament going the way that Greg Sankey apparently wants it to go.
I don't think it'll happen. But again, I think there's a lot of people at the high major level. You know, one person told me, one AD, high major AD said, listen, if we're the ones that are on the hook here for some of these lawsuits and going to get hit money-wise, well, the little guys aren't. They're not going to get hit. So why are we giving them some money? Well, you're giving them some money because it's what makes the NCAA tournament the best event in all of sports.
It's an investment. What they got to realize is that you share that money with them, and it's an investment because you're going to get a bigger deal from the NCAA tournament because that's why people watch and people care about it. So you kick them a little bit, and you're going to make more overall, even if it's a smaller percentage. But that's not the way they're going to view it. They're going to say, we can get this deal. We can share all of it with just ourselves. We can kick out 200 schools that probably should be Division II schools if we're really being honest.
The other part
about it.
is, so the other thing that I was told from that meeting was they may bring up the requirements.
This team is over here.
Oh, Jesus. Tim Miles is heckling us.
Oh,
He's heckling
my
us in
gosh.
the middle of a show.
We're getting heckled. We're getting heckled.
It's because Miles feels like he drove the ratings. So
That was Tim Miles, ladies and gentlemen. Tim Miles making a cameo.
So one thing that was said in that meeting to the council members that they thought was maybe they'll bring up the requirements so high that schools won't be able to reach them, therefore won't be eligible for Division I, therefore won't be eligible for the NCAA tournament. So almost, you know, again, just putting the pressure on them where they can't be included.
Can I?
If you
I
even
don't
talk about the Power Six, there's enough schools to field 64 teams or 68 teams. There's enough schools. That's the issue. You could still, hypothetically, you could still have a tournament. It's just not going to have the same flavor as some of these big upsets.
Well, I know. Can I also say though, we really don't need 363 Division I teams. That keeps growing every.
More,
We add
yeah,
5
more
every year.
coming.
We don't need that many.
Listen, I
you
sat with
missed out
Grant
on
Leonard
Bellarmine.
here. Tio sat with
We missed
Grant
out on
Leonard.
Bellarmine. What?
Missed out on
Not
Bellarmine.
making the tournament.
Queens
Not making the
University.
Yeah.
Welcome. You know, like, come on. Why are you a hater of Queens University?
I didn't realize they were in North Carolina until about 2 hours
They're
ago.
dead center of Charlotte. You ought to see them.
I didn't realize.
Grant gave me good dinner recommendations for tonight. So you don't want them?
I do.
Then they're
100%.
going to be in Division One.
100.
You guys need
100%.
to drive through Queens
Beautiful.
campus. It is.
Is it?
Beautiful. Yeah, and it's right.
Drove through Winthrop last night
one
a
of the
little bit.
nicest parts of
No.
Charlotte.
Don't guilt trip me for saying that I don't think that we have too many by bringing up Queens University.
Queens-
I don't need to
Queens
hear
needed
about
to
your
be Division
campus. I don't need to hear about your campus, T.O.
Queens.
I don't hear about your
Merrimack.
campus.
Merrimack's right around the corner from me.
Get
Winning
out of here.
games, baby.
Get out of here with you, Merrimack. Listen, let's get to the interview with Reed Sheppard, Gabe Cupps. They were awesome. Gabe is going to Indiana. Reed is going to Kentucky. I think everybody knows who Reed Sheppard is by now. They know he's athletic. And T.O. also challenged him to a shooting contest.
I can get him if we stand still.
We'll see if we can get that done. We'll to that interview right now.
All right, we're here in Rock Hill for the Adidas tournament, and we got two of the best in the country. Gabe Cupps headed to Indiana. Reed Sheppard headed to Kentucky. Guys, how's it feel?
Good. I appreciate you having us on here.
It's good to be,
Yes, sir. I appreciate
be
it.
here. Good to be here. Two guys who I watched last summer as well down in, where were we, Birmingham? Birmingham. And I fell in love with you guys. I did. I fell in love with you guys, not just individually, but how you guys play as a team. Because you don't play typical AAU ball. and I don't know if that's taking shots at AU ball or not. It might be, but you guys move the basketball. You play as a team, and it's fun to watch. And I think it starts with the two of you just moving the basketball, playing the right way. Reed, let's start with you a little bit here, and your decision about a little less than a year ago, to go to Kentucky. You know, the pressure that was on you to go to Kentucky and the offer when it came your way from Calipari. I think some people weren't sure whether it was going to come your way. What was that like?
Yeah, you know what? Some people would say it took a while for that offer to come. But, you know, when I finally got that offer, it wasn't like immediate, like I'm going to Kentucky. I still wanted to go to all these other schools and visit and talk to the coaches and play out the whole recruiting process and not just forget about everything and go to Kentucky. And then by the end of the recruiting process, when I knew it was time, the Kentucky part was like, you know, I'm from Kentucky. I live an hour from Kentucky. And, you know, the coaches, they felt like home being at Kentucky. And, you know, Coach Cal does a really good job of getting players where they need to go and being successful after college.
How much was the dribble drive offense and how much was fitting into what he wants to run part of the conversations that you had there? You know, I think you have the rep as a shooter, right? But you can do a little stuff off the balance too. You got that in your locker.
Yeah, just being able to do everything. You know, that's what part of what he said was just come in and just do what you do, and we're gonna play you into the offense how we play our offense. And, you know, that's what I'm looking forward to, is just getting down there and doing whatever he tells me to do and trying to listen and be the best player I can be.
So what's it like playing with Gabe? I mean, a true point guard in the sense of the word, right? Just a guy who really throwback to me. That's what you are. I mean, even with the short shorts that you're wearing right now, you are a throwback in the sense of the word. What's it like playing with?
You know, I think we first started playing together about like in 8th grade was the first time we ever played together. We've always played against each other, but being able to play with him, you know, he always brings the most energy to the game, and he's always a dog on the defensive end. And on the offensive end, he knows how to get you open, and he knows when to take his shots and when to screen and pass and cut, and he's a great talker. So it's been a blessing being able to play with him.
Are we gonna make sure we got a Gabe Cupps Indiana jersey for this guy? Now, has he told you he's the biggest Indiana fan on the planet?
Yeah, we can definitely get it done.
He's gonna get Mike Woodson's name painted across his chest. You're gonna see him at the front row of the student section there cheering on. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, that'll be sweet.
I do got to win over the fan base. The fan base, they didn't love me for a little while. I think I can flip them a little bit. I think you were there when I was with my daughter a year ago visiting. I think you were on your visit too. Yeah. What was it for you, again, that, you know, you had a lot of schools on you. You're from Ohio. What was it about Indiana that led you to choose the Hoosiers?
Mostly it was just a basketball school. You know, my family has just been nothing but basketball. My dad's been a high school coach for over 20 years. So, you know, we've really known nothing else. And Indiana really felt like home, you know, kind of being around that same aspect. So I think Coach Woodson, his purpose for coming back to Indiana is really cool as well. You know, he's a super loyal guy, and, you know, he takes care of the people that are around him.
And there's like the Indiana family, right? The Indiana family. We have AJ Guyton, who played in probably before you were born at Indiana, does our Indiana podcast. And he's had all of these different people on. It's like there's a familiar aspect of the Hoosier the Hoosier base that is, I don't think you get that in a lot of other places.
Yeah, I think the fans are amazing there, and you know, everybody is centered around basketball, and you know, that's the center of their attention, and everybody's there to watch it. Everybody's there to, you know, cheer them on, and everybody wants them to succeed.
What's Indiana getting out of you? I know it's a year from now, but for those who haven't
Reed, I want your scouting report of Gabe, and Gabe, I want your scouting report of Reed.
That's good. All right, so go ahead. Go ahead.
First,
yeah.
So, like,
what is Indiana getting from him? And I also want you to be honest on this. What do you think each other need to do to improve before you get to college?
Which one you want first?
Go ahead. Yeah, you go on. Like, describe him first, strengths,
okay.
And then like the one area that, you know, listen, you guys are smart enough to know what each other needs to do to get better in the next, you know, whatever, 8 months.
Well, I think Indiana's getting a really good basketball player, a really smart player that's going to do everything he needs to do to help the team succeed. He's never going to back talk the coaches, never going to get mad at the coaches when they yell at him or coach him. He's a very coachable player. And on the court and off the court, he's very vocal. And he's a goofy guy. He's going to be himself, always making everybody laugh. And then always, like in the basketball mind, he's going to make the team win. Like he's going to make Indiana win when he's out there on the court.
Won 45 straight in high school, right?
He's gonna make the right plays, and he's gonna make Indiana really good.
And what's the one thing that he needs to do before he gets to school to be ready?
I think overall, just like getting like stronger and getting like, and both of us like maturing before we go, and because like in college, the work ethic and all that is completely different than it is in high school ball. And just keep working on our overall game and just keep getting into the gym.
Gabe, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I think Kentucky's getting a really talented player that can score on all three levels. I think he's really savvy on defense when he chooses to be. And I think he gets a lot of deflections.
You hear that? What he chooses to be? I like that. That's the coach in him right there.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I think he gets a ton of deflections, a ton of steals. And I think, he's very athletic, and a lot of people don't know it until he just takes off on people. So
they do now after yesterday.
Yeah,
they do now.
Yeah, that was, you dunked on a big time dude yesterday, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
On Bay, was that as good a dunk as you've had lately?
That's probably been the best one I've had in a couple months. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people like your dad was known, obviously, as a big-time athlete. I think with you, it's more deceptive, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Dad. I don't want to say this, but I think Dad could jump a little higher than me. And
no, I think we know that. I know that. I'm old enough to remember.
Yeah, he could jump pretty good. He could jump.
What does he need before we finish on that? What is the one other thing other than picking his spots defensively that he needs to do before he gets to?
Yeah, I would say just that consistency on defense and that consistent effort. And then also just like, I would say like picking his times to go at guys. And because, in high school, like he's their guy, like he's going to score all the time. So I think just, it's always going to be an adjustment for everybody that goes to college. So just finding that.
Reed, I'm curious. We were talking about your dad a little bit. You mentioned earlier that it wasn't a lock once you got the Kentucky offer that you were going to go there. How much was – it's obviously cool that you can go to the same program that your dad played at and start at, right? But there's also a little bit of pressure there. How much did that weigh in to your decision-making process? How much were you aware of it? And is that something that you think about as you're getting ready?
It didn't occur at all, actually, when like I first was starting the process of like if I wanted to go there or not. That wasn't like the biggest – part of the like why I said yes at all, because like during the whole thing, even before it got started, Mom and Dad both were just like, we want you to do what you want to do, and we're going to be by your side, and we're going to give you encouragement and our thoughts on it all. But at the end of the day, you're going to be there for 4 years. We're going to want you to be comfortable being there and let it feel like family. And then finally, once I made that commitment or told Dad I wanted to go to Kentucky, then that's when I kind of started thinking about how cool that it was that Mom and Dad both played at Kentucky.
What was his reaction when you told him? Was he happy? Was he excited? Did you guys have a moment?
Yeah, we did. We talked for about an hour. It was just me and Dad. We were actually in a car ride coming home, and I just talked to him for about an hour about it. And, he just kind of shared his thoughts, and, he was just saying he was proud and that wanted to make sure that this is what I wanted to do. So he was excited.
Guys, with the whole changing landscape of college hoops, I want to get both your opinions on everything that's going on right now, right? You got the transfer portal, you got NIL, now you got realignment. Like, what's it like for you as somebody who's going in, and I'm sure as both of you have followed college basketball pretty closely, especially with NIL. Like, what's your take on all this that's going on right now?
I mean, I think NIL, I think players should be able to make the money off their name. They've worked hard, and I think that's something they deserve to do. I just hope, it doesn't take over the game. And I mean, basketball should be the focus. Winning should be the focus. I don't want guys to just play the game for money. It's a lot deeper than that. And I think the game deserves better than that.
Kids are kind of making decisions now, a lot of them based on NIL, right? Like, especially in the transfer portal, how much money they're offered rather than the best fit. Do you think, have you talked to like teammates about that and things? And I know it's not supposed to happen with recruiting, with kids coming into college. I'm sure it is. But, how much do you think that will change kids and how they make their decisions?
I think it'll change it a lot. I think a lot of kids will go into a school looking to see how much money they can make, especially now that it's out there and all the college players are like posting about what they're getting. Like some of the Kentucky players got Porsches last year and all that, and that's what some people want. They want to go to college and automatically get money, get cars, get clothing, and so I think it'll be a big change in how kids look at colleges. But like Gabe said, I hope it doesn't take over and people just want to go to college and get that NIL instead of winning and playing college basketball.
Clothing line yet? Anything? Nothing? Neither one of you? Nothing? You don't want to do the short shorts?
I definitely will eventually.
Yeah, you will. No doubt. Well, you guys are both in areas. I mean, obviously, you with your dad playing there, you've already got a name going there, and you're in Bloomington where, like you said, it's all about hoops. So those are two places that if you play well, and that's the biggest thing. I think it's if you earn it. That, like for guys coming in, I don't think really you should be paid coming in because I don't think you've earned it. Yeah, you've earned it here. So different though.
Yeah.
And it's based on what? A ranking, and how accurate are I never did rankings, so you can't yell at me for that. Thank God I stayed out of that deal. But it's true. Like how much you guys even pay attention? You're I don't know what you're ranked. Do you know what you're ranked right now? At all? You know what you're ranked?
I have no idea.
Like how do you not pay attention to it? I guess is the biggest thing. How do you stay focused and not pay attention? Some guys use it as motivation.
Yeah, I mean, I have an inner desire to try to be the best player that I can be, and rankings don't justify that, and don't push me to work harder. And my dad has always told me that those are just opinions, and like everything else in the world, it's just an opinion. So just got to stay focused on trying to become the best me.
Yeah, same thing. Like you said, parents just saying, don't worry about any of the rankings. They're all just whatever people think, and none of it matters. Just stay in the gym and do what you can do.
When Cal did recruit you, what did he say your role? It's early, obviously. You're still a year away from going there, so it's a little bit different. But what did he say? How he envisioned you playing in that system?
Well, his first thing he said to me was, he said he just wanted me to have fun. He said this next year is going to be crazy of high school basketball. He said you're in Kentucky. All the fans are going to come already and see you. He said, so really just have fun your last year. And we haven't talked a lot about the college, like what I'm going to do yet, but he just said he wants me to just have fun and enjoy the process of it all. And then when next high school season gets over, we'll come up and sit down and start talking mainly about it.
Tyrese Maxey, Devin Booker, Tyler Hero. I'm sure I'm missing more guys. Ty. You have a lot of guys. You're not the exact same player as them, but none of them are the exact same player. You have all these Kentucky guards that come in, that can score, that can play off the bounce. They go to the NBA, that have a great deal of success. That play a role in your thought process?
Yeah, it does. Like I said earlier, knowing like what Coach Cal and the Kentucky staff can do to get you to the next level, whether that's the NBA or overseas, and they know so many people, and they're going to continue to get you better no matter what. If you're there and you just listen to them and do what they say, you're going to improve your overall game.
All right, Gabe, how good are the Hoosiers going to be? They better be good this year, because if they're good, I can get to see my daughter more. She can't tell me not to come. I can just say I'm coming for a game, right? So what do we think of the Hoosiers?
Yeah, I think they could be really good. They have a ton of potential, and I think Coach Woodson is going to make them sit down on defense. And, I think they have the talent to score on offense. So you put those two things together, they could be a really special team.
I have an idea, all right? If Indiana wins the Big Ten this year, or if Kentucky makes the Final Four this year, he has to do an entire show wearing your short shorts. Yeah?
I like it. I like it.
You like it?
Thanks for stopping by, guys. Really appreciate it. Like I said, it's fun to watch you guys. It's fun to watch you individually. It's fun to watch you as a team. You play the right way. Both in Bloomington and Lexington, they're gonna love watching you guys, because again, you play the right way. You handle yourselves the right way, and I can't wait to see you both.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
That was Reed Sheppard and Gabe Cupps. They were pretty good.
They
not
were
bad,
good.
Jeff.
They were good. I can't wait to, bring
I
Gabe.
can't wait to see you and Gabe Cupps short shorts.
Me, Gabe Cupps, and my daughter
Did you hear that?
drinking
Did you
in
hear that?
Bloomington
If
in a year.
Indiana
What
wins
do
the
you
Big
think?
Ten,
Yeah.
Goodman said he will do an entire show wearing Gabe Cupps short shorts. I've never
Nobody
been a
wants
bigger,
to see
that.
I've never,
They're a
I've
medium,
never
so
been a bigger
yeah.
Indiana
Yeah.
fan. I've
Could
never
be.
been, I'm gonna get.
I
across my forehead.
might root for every other team.
Nobody
I'll
wants to
root
see
for anybody but Indiana.
Anybody but Indiana. All right, so let's talk about this event. The talent level is not what I necessarily expected. There's different reasons for that, and we'll get into it. But I will tell you this: the facility, the food spread they got right over there. They have cold brew coffee on tap, fellas.
It's not bad.
Speaking of which,
Setup here is great.
Donuts all the way over.
Oh my gosh! Hey, we're not getting sponsorship. Don't let them see. We're not getting sponsorship. We're not getting sponsorship.
Get a sponsorship. Dunkin' Donuts. Come on, let's go.
Come on, Duncan.
He got an iced diabetic coma.
Yeah.
Tell them what it is. Tell them what you ordered from Dunkin'.
It's a large iced mocha, extra mocha, and extra cream. It's like a milkshake. That's what it is. Chris
Every-
Beard.
That's a lot.
Every morning.
You can. Chris
Every
Beard
morning.
can attest to this. How good it is. It got him through a full day at the Peach Jam last year on like 30 minutes sleep.
Can we talk about this game, this facility,
Do it.
please? Can we talk about this tournament?
Yeah, no. Like
Anything
I'm
other
with
than
you.
your freaking iced coffees?
I'm with you right now on the talent level is not what it was a year ago. It's not what I'm used to at Adidas. Part of the reason is some guys were hurt. Some guys are playing overseas. Stojakovic's kid is in Greece.
D1 Minnesota's missing a high-level point guard.
Yeah.
UConn target.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, it's not. It's not as great with high level top. There's not a top 10 player here.
No.
Right. So, Nike generally has always had the majority of the talent. I think it's tilted even further in their favor after all the stuff that happened with the federal investigation. That gutted Adidas even more, changed the whole dynamic and the administration of Adidas. There's good players. I mean, really good players.
A lot of good college players.
Yeah.
A lot of good college players
it's
at
just
the
fun
end.
to be out. Listen, the bottom line is I came up through recruiting when T.O. was – what year was that? What year were you on the circuit?
5 and 6, 2005.
Yeah,
2006.
so I've been in about 5 years at that point. I love it. I mean, I always say, like, I miss it, but there's definitely a difference in level of talent with this class. Like, this 2023 class is not overpowering. Right
I was telling you guys this the other day. One longtime scout told me that the 2023 and 2024 classes are the worst classes that he's seen since he's been doing this. He's been doing it for 25 years.
And what a bad time to be a high school senior, too, with the portal and how everything's going. The extra year of eligibility. 23 and 24, not great. There still are some guys at this tournament that are going to be very good college players, 3 and 4 year college players that you're going to know about for a long time. But at the same time, that top level talent, there is no Keontae George here this year. The closest thing that you're going to have is Jacoby Walter from Trae Young. That's a high level guy. They have
good.
3 or 4 guys that are really good. Caden Cooper's been offered by everybody, super athlete. Like, there are guys here, but it's not necessarily where you have a Keontae George who's going to be a top 10 pick in the draft next year potentially.
I want to
have
ask
a Julian Phillips.
Talk to us about Reed Sheppard a little bit, because I know we've had conversations about
You know what? I've watched Reed for 2 years now. Dude can score. The dude can score. I was a little apprehensive at first because Kentucky loves this dribble drive. They don't use a ball screen. They don't run a ton of down screen stuff. Cal likes to create closeouts through penetration first. They don't use a whole lot of actions. You got to be overwhelming physically. You have to be super fast. John Wall, Derrick Rose, those are his best players he's had. Those guys who can get somewhere off the dribble. Reed Sheppard isn't that. He needs some actions manufactured for him. That's what I thought. The more that I've watched him throughout this tournament, he's creating a lot off the dribble. The kid's really, really good. He is a surefire top 40, top 50 player in the country this season. Now, he's going to end up staying at Kentucky for a while. You hope that he can find a niche. Cal always needs shooters, it seems. He is that. Dude can knock down shots at a high level. He's athletic. He's
good
had
size.
some dunks. He's got pretty good size. 6'2", 6'3".
He's fine.
He's not as I thought he was. I thought he was
grow.
big.
Well,
I
he
thought
didn't
was-
grow
he was
from
big.
last year to this
Yeah.
year. The one thing I'll say to all that is Reed Sheppard. His IQ is off the charts.
Off the
charts. So to me, that's an area you can always do. There's a field of 68 guy over there. You see?
Another one.
Archie
Another
Miller
one.
walking around looking completely lost, like he's been out of the game for a year.
He has no idea where he's
in
going.
shape. All
has
he
no
did
clue
was
where
go
he's
field of 68 and work out every day. He had nothing else to do.
All right. Anyway, Reed Sheppard. I'm the one thing I will say.
I'm in on him. I'm in on him.
One thing that I will say,
100%.
We've seen Jamal Murray thrive. We've seen Tyler Hero thrive. We've seen Kevin Knox play really, really well, running off of those double baseline screens, running off of those staggers, getting put in those in actions like that. And I think that Reed Sheppard, if he's used properly,
right. Well, that's the key. That's the key.
Well,
and Cal isn't a guy who's really made wholesale changes to what he's done offensively.
He runs
big on tweaks. He's a
tweaker.
No, but he runs very. People are going to probably jump on me for saying this, but correct me if I'm wrong. He runs very basic stuff, but his whole goal is we're going to run our shit, but you can't
because you got more talent.
Yeah, but you're not going to be able to stop us when we do what we do. And I think that if you put Reed in the same actions that you put Tyler Hero in, the same ones that you put Jamal Murray in, I think he'll be able to do very well.
What he can do too, the other thing that Reed can do that those guys weren't, he's not just a one-dimensional scorer.
That's right.
You know, like I feel like he can make really good reads with the ball in his hands. You can play through him a lot. And again, he can make other guys better. I like him. Again,
you like him a lot more.
Is he going to be a one and done?
You like him a lot more than you like Gabe Cupps.
I love Gabe Cupps. I love Gabe Cupps. I'm all in on Gabe Cupps. Just cerebral, knows how to play. He's going to need talent around him.
Well, what's funny for the people that are listening right now is Goodman was killing Gabe Cupps until he found out he was going to Indiana.
No, I love him.
Save the Mike Woodson.
Listen, the biggest thing for Gabe Cupps is he's going to need players around him like he has right now. Yeah. Period. Like he's not going to be able to shoulder the burden, the scoring burden. But what he can do is
he's not a 20 point per game.
Really good.
He's a 11.7 assists.
He's a pure point guard going to a Big Ten where they're going to run some ball screen actions, and he's going to walk right into a situation where Xavier Johnson is going to be leaving, so he's going to have an opportunity to play right away. He's an excellent passer. He can get into the teeth of the defense. He's an athletic point guard. He can get downhill, very good in ball screen situations. I like Gabe Cupps. I think he's shifty, excellent passer. Like you said, he's playing beside Reed Sheppard, cerebral guy. He knows where his guys are going to be. I think he's going to be a good player at Indiana. He's going to be a 4-year guy.
You mentioned Jacoby Walter. You mentioned, I don't know if you mentioned him yet, but you love Freddie DeLeon.
Oh, man.
You don't know why he's not the number one player in the class.
I didn't say that, but
is he the new Shaden Sharp?
No,
is he better than Zion?
Somebody had him ranked like 100. Like, now I haven't seen everybody. Obviously, we know that, but I'm looking at that kid, and I don't know if you guys agree. Like, come on, he's not a 100. Like, he's a top 50 player.
He's a bucket.
That's right.
He can absolutely score.
He can do everything.
He can absolutely score.
Freddie can do everything. Plays for Team Loaded, North Carolina. They ended up losing a heartbreaker the other day. Yesterday. Might have been yesterday.
Yeah.
Team Loaded, Virginia. Great game. And not only is he big and strong, 6'5", built, but I think he can play both spots. I think he's a true combo guard in the sense of the word. And
I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree. I think he is a scoring point guard. I don't think that he is.
Isn't that a combo?
He's not a combo.
Is it a scoring point? Basically a combo?
No, because a combo means you want him playing off the ball.
I do. I can see him playing off the ball too.
He's the guy that needs
so
the rock
if you put
in his
him
hands.
next to Gabe Cupps,
he needs the rock in his hands.
Disagree.
I disagree.
What I think is, I think he's a secondary ball handler who can play without the ball too. The only problem is I don't think he's a pure point for the reason that he doesn't know how to come back and get the ball and function as a.
He's not there yet. He's not there as a
scorer. He's a scorer.
He's a scorer only.
And he's a
that's
the reason I'm leaning great scorer. Like a legitimately great scorer.
Yeah, I'm leaning more towards the combo guard thing with him. He's got good size. He's 6'6", long arms. Defend. He'll be able to defend fine. Hasn't been an emphasis here.
No, but I thought at times he did here. I think he showed the ability to want to guard at times.
He had two really good blocks.
Yeah, I mean,
really good
listen,
blocks.
I just think he's a guy that's being recruited not nearly as high as he should right now. I mean, like
that'll change.
Well,
after going for
you would
putting
think
him 30 something. And
Rob had him at 33 when he only had 21.
yeah, Rob had him at 40.
You know what my goal? No, my entire goal this week was to find a guy to get you to hype him up completely unnecessarily.
He's the guy.
And the problem was you saw that kid go nuts, and then it was like, man, my plan.
Him and the youngest McCaffrey are the two guys I love now. Jack McCaffrey.
Oh boy, here we go.
Very good player. Jacoby Walter, though. I mean, that guy's going to be
Talented.
very good, very talented, physical specimen at the lead guard position. He's going to be really good at Baylor. He can create that initial chain of reactions that we've done so much with Scott Drew. He can get into the lane, make that pitch out, and then he can also finish.
Too. He's
big, physical guy, and it's kind of a Scott
Drew
guy.
What do you think he was, like
physical
6'6", 6'7"?
Yeah,
is he that big?
Now here's where the scouting thing comes in, because when I saw him, I thought 6'5.5". I thought 6'5". I didn't think he was that big. But that team, Trae Young, they lost their first game. Even though they lost, it's one of the most talented teams here. I mean, you look at some of the guys on that roster. Right. Dink Pate, a 20-24 kid, 6'8", dribble, pass, and shoot, three-way guy. There's a lot of talent on that team. It's just sometimes talent doesn't equate to wins on the AAU circuit. But that's been a fun team to watch. Another guy for Trae Young. This Caden Cooper kid might be the best run and jump athlete in the class.
Wow.
And I say that because some of the things that he's been doing on the defensive end, covering ground, trail blocks, some of these things, this guy is big time athlete. I'm excited to see where he goes. Offers from everywhere, Gonzaga, UCLA, you name it. But he's a special athlete. I got a list of about 10 guys.
What did you guys think of Braden Shrewsbury? Penn State commit, the son of Michael Shrewsbury, Penn State head coach.
I haven't seen him yet. I got to see him today.
That kid could play.
Can he?
That kid could play.
Who's he playing with?
It was one of the teams from Indiana. I can't remember which one. Indiana Elite, Indiana Elite.
They're behind us.
They're playing right now behind us.
I was not. Yeah, there he is, right over there. I was not all that impressed with their point guard, Logan Himes. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. That's also committed to Penn State. But Braden Shrewsbury is a player.
Crazy thing is, I've seen him since he was like, I don't know, when Mikey got to the Celtics, when he was a young kid. So it's kind of cool to see.
I will say this: he has a much better head of hair than his dad does.
Yes.
I love how this always comes up. The hair always comes up when I'm on the show.
Jaden Mustaf, kid I really like. Gerard Mustaf's son, plays for New World. Jamie Kaiser.
I was about to mention him.
Kid who was a football, basketball player. I guess lost some weight and he likes him because you know why?
Thompson's on him?
No, all he can do is
shoot
shit out of
He's
it.
A good enough athlete. The dude's got shoulders.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
boy, looks like a football player.
Yeah, physically, he's going to be able to compete.
I sat behind his dad for a game yesterday, and Jamie is probably 6'6", 215, 220, and he is about half the size of his dad.
Really? That's huge.
His
dad's upper body is a barrel.
Yeah, he's a big kid.
He's
an athletic kid, can attack the rim. He's going to be able to help both sides of the ball. Can play some small ball for if you needed him to because of that strength.
Yeah,
really good player. Really, it makes things happen off the dribble too. They went a couple teams went zone against him. He attacks the gaps. He knows where to go. Pretty cerebral kid. One of my favorite players for New World.
Give me one sleeper from here, and then we're going to get out of here and wrap it up. You go first.
Only one sleep.
Give me. I know if you don't go with the guy that I want you to go with.
I'm not going Rob Dauster, but I liked him a lot.
No. Your guy.
St. Joe's?
No, your guy.
Who?
Mayer Wall.
Oh, I love that kid.
Who?
Mayer Wall, College of Charleston commit, played for Team Loaded.
Is he number 10?
Yeah, 6'8" kid.
I love him. Great kid.
Really good.
Thomas Carr, good hire.
Yeah, really good get for them. Really good shooter, can handle a little bit off the dribble, physically needs to mature a little bit in order to compete in that league. Still a good league, the College of Charleston. My sleeper, though, Anthony Finkley from Kalo Elite. Kid from Philly, 6'7.5", 6'8"-ish, but really talented, wide body frame, can dribble, can handle the ball at 4 or 5 position, has committed to St. Joe's. I like him a lot. Dennis Parker, Rob Dauster, the loaded kids from Virginia, obviously really good. And the best passer that I've seen this year, D-Dan Thomas of Dream Vision. His dad played at UNLV. I saw the first game that they played here. Must have had 14 or 15 assists. He is undersized, but he's an excellent passer, puts it on the numbers. and can really handle the basketball.
If you want what life is like on the DTF podcast on a week-by-week basis, I say give me one sleeper. T.O. spends 15 minutes talking about 18 different guys. He mentioned every single player in this gym. Every single player at the Adidas 3 SSB Championships is a sleeper, according to Terrence Oglesby.
That's right.
I will say this though, it's been so funny being in South Carolina with South Carolina's own. I swear you are the mayor of this state. You're the president of the state. You know everybody here. It's like, oh yeah, let's go to this spot. We're gonna go to the Dixie Pig. Oh hey, let's go over here. Here's David Benton.
You turned down
this
the
guy
big
played
boy.
on my AAU. This guy played on my AAU. This played on my AAU.
He wouldn't eat. Right, we walk into a great establishment. The big boy.
Come on.
T.O.'s in. I'm in. We go in there.
This is what you're going to roast me for.
And it's too good for you.
The place
Like,
that
you're
had
too
mashed
good.
potatoes
You're too
sitting,
good for it.
boiling
Oh,
water.
come on. Suck it up.
It was
It
revolting.
didn't look terrific. It looked fine. But
It
I
was
got one more.
revolting.
I got one more because you said South Carolina. KJ Green sent Gabe Cupps
Point
and
guard,
Reed
really
Sheppard
good.
home
Really good.
on a last second three. 2024 kid, really talented, offers all over the SEC. KJ Green, somebody to keep an eye on going into next year. But still maturing, transferred out of South Carolina to Pace Academy in Atlanta. KJ Green could be somebody to keep an eye on. Could be a special kid.
Give me a
I'm
sleeper.
not even. Let's go.
I'm going Rob Dauster,
Not a
class of 2024.
Who's sleeping on him?
I'm sleeping.
Not a
He wasn't-
sleeper.
he wasn't
Sleeping
ranked.
on him.
I think he had
Wasn't he
one.
ranked
He had
high?
one. He had one high major, and that was from a
Really?
local school. Yeah, one high major
All
offer.
right, well,
Local
think
school.
about
6'7" guy, long arms, great
Really
defender,
defend.
really guards. Gets to the basket, can pass it too.
I'm gonna watch
just-
some hoops.
He's got a Goodman jumper. He's got a
Finishing my
Goodman push
Dunkin'
shot.
Donuts and let's go.
This has been the crossover episode of the DTF podcast and the Goodman Hummel podcast.
I'm done with
We're at
Hummel.
the Adidas
I'm trading
3 SSB
Hummel traded.